Hello. I only have 38 minutes on my memory card, so I'm gonna have to try and make this quick, which is gonna be difficult because I'm gonna be smoking the hookah in between, so I might not get in all the information I want. And this is my not my last memory card, but my last good one, so not likely that I'll be able to fit any additional information tonight. I might take some notes, but I'm just wasting time now, so I'll just go ahead. I can't, or no, I shouldn't say I can't. It's better to start out. I'm becoming more aware, or rather, it is becoming more apparent that I have no concrete evidence to support my claims. I just have my experiences. And when the things I draw from my experiences have no concrete evidence, does that mean I'm drawing on the wrong things? Or does that mean I don't know how to find the evidence? Could it be that the evidence is simply less obvious? Or is it more simply less sensible? Well, what defines sensible? Commonality? That seems to be the standard skeptics use. Seems to be, but now that I think about it, it's really not. Something can be common and still questioned by a skeptic. Why am I questioning a skeptic's belief system? Why am I looking at how they want to question me? What should I be looking at? Well, let's go by process of execution. I know I didn't mean to say process of elimination, but that would work too. But I mean in the actual order things are executed. Let's see. Gotta start at the beginning. I think magic exists. Why do I think it exists? I think it exists because I've cast a spell that's supposed to make a certain thing happen, and then it's happened. Oh, it's not specific about which the manner it would happen. So there was no underlying proving or disproving that the magic was actually cast. I believe darkness exists. That is not the lack of light, but it is an actual element. How do I prove this? Is there any proof? Is there any disproof? Is there any concrete evidence proving that darkness is not, in fact, an existing object? And how do we define what exists and what doesn't? These things I can't prove to be real. I can't seem to prove them to be false either. There was a time when I couldn't prove the Bible to be false, but then again, it wasn't really that I couldn't prove it, it's that I hadn't tried. As soon as I tried, it no longer made sense to me. It immediately became, oh, this is a mind trick. I get it now. They're telling me if I don't believe it, they'll hurt me. The person who wrote this book is saying, believe what I tell you or we will burn you. If you actually believe that, then you'll believe anything else they say. Pretty simple. It's different with this though. It's belief in magic and belief in darkness as a substance, because I'm not attempting to fool someone. It's just what I believe based on what I can feel. What my thoughts and my emotions and my feelings, my senses and my perception are telling me. And also what my accumulative knowledge is telling me. I don't think I'm claiming anything extraordinary either. People just want to come down on me for not believing what they believe, I think. I said this in my first video, and I'll say it again now. It's all right for them to disagree with you. It's not all right for them to force you to agree with them. Well, not my first video, but my first real vlog. And I can go the other way too. It's all right for you to disagree with them. And it's not all right for you to force them to agree with you. That's your yin and yang. I mean, everybody cares so much these days about beliefs and technical statistics and knowledge. It's like they don't even realize that it's impossible to be right. The real truth, the real definitive answers are so broad and so involved, literally as large as the entire universe, that you cannot understand them. You cannot fathom them. You cannot understand the whole concept at once. You can move from one onto the other, onto the next, but you cannot comprehend everything. You cannot have all the right answers. It's not possible. And because of that, there are no right answers. Because the right answer isn't an answer, it's the universe. The right answer is the whole of fact, the whole of reality. It's not an answer to a question. It's an unending truth. Something that doesn't have one definition or one set of definitions. Something that it doesn't have one way of looking at it or one way of conceptualizing it. But it does have spectrums. And it has two opposite ends of the spectrum we can look at. One is color, energy, or one might say light, or more specifically vibrations. You have your rigid zigzag vibrations, which are base and the precursor to the earth element. You have your linear vibrations, which are silence and the precursor to the fire element. Oh, that's sweet. And you have your curved vibrations, which are high pitch, which are the precursors to the water element. The real fundaments of the universe. And then you have the foundation that the universe is founded in. The basement of the universe. And you have, on the opposite end of the spectrum, the total lack of vibration. Darkness. Hard to say, really, if darkness is nothing. Darkness being lack of vibration, but still being material, poses a question as to whether the universe is really frequencies, or whether it is matter, and matter vibrates at certain frequencies. I tend to think that everything has a certain substance it's made up of, but there's no reason that substance can't be made up of frequencies. For instance, the white noise vibration, or white light, is made up of the three other vibrations that I just mentioned: the red, green, and blue, the earth, fire, and water. Darkness, light, earth, fire, and water can be viewed in many different ways, creating each other in different orders. It's impossible to tell which way they really come into being unless one can perceive the entire universe at once. Perhaps this is possible. If it is, I'm sure I'll attain that level. If it's not, I'm sure I'll slip into the mundane and give up on everything. I don't really care what someone else says is false or real. I know what I know from experience. And I might not be able to prove it to them. But I understand it, and that's the important part. To me, nothing's really proven. There's always that chance that everything in my perception can be an error, that I'm viewing everything exactly wrong, that I don't understand anything at all, that when I look at a blade of grass, what I see is completely different from what it really is. That when I see light shining, it doesn't mean what I think it means. To me, knowing things or not knowing things isn't about proof. To me, there is no proof. There's no way to be 100% sure of anything. And that's why I'm not religious, and why I don't believe in science per se. I do believe in some things in science, of course, but only to the degree that they are useful. What I mean by that is, I believe that the way we understand the universe currently, or the way some people understand it, I shouldn't really be identifying with it. I believe it's the most efficient view of the universe we have in some areas. But I also believe that it's the most detrimental view we have, because we're sitting here denouncing everybody that says they know something. Claiming they're the epicenter of knowledge, or their holy book is the epicenter of knowledge. And we're saying our science, our scientific holy books are the epicenter of knowledge. And not all scientists are guilty of that, but that's kind of the general overtone of the whole thing. Overtone or undertone, or a little both, maybe. Like Charles Darwin said something about science being, if you find something in it to be useful, then use it, and if it ever becomes not useful, then don't use it. I'm not a scientist, and I don't hang out with scientists, so I don't really have room to talk, honestly, about whether science, has this kind of masturbatory self-worship that some people seem to apply to it. Especially some atheists. But, I don't know. It just seems like people have faith in science. And they'll say that the world is science, or that evolution is science, or this or that effect of nature is science. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think science measures nature, and that nature is one thing and science is another. Science can also create, or at least scientific information and devices in the hands of mankind and womankind can create. I don't know, it's confusing. All I know is that before science there was alchemy. And science, you know what, now that I'm thinking about that, that's not even the way I want to go. That's not really what I want to say. I just want to say that sometimes we disprove things in science. Just because something is an accepted scientific theory, even if it has proof to back it up, doesn't mean that it's necessarily true or fact. Sometimes it's just misconstrued or misunderstood. And then we end up understanding it a different way. But I don't know that much about that either. There's so much I don't know. That star there? I don't know what star it is. You can't see it on the camera, or at least I can't. It might still show up on the thing. That star there, I don't know what star that is. I don't know what any of those stars are. There's people all over the world that could tell you exactly what stars those are. But you know what? If I asked them to prove it to me, they might not be able to. Why is this called that? Why is that called that? What's the purpose of this? What's the purpose of that? And they might be able to. And that makes their argument seem a lot more valid than mine, because I don't fucking know. There's this guy in here named Steve DiCecco. He, just realized he reminds me of Poppy off the Proud Family. It's a cartoon. He's this Mexican guy that always says something in Spanish, then laughs like crazy, like I'm sorry. That was horrible fake Spanish. I don't know, it's just like, fuck, what am I gonna do? I can't prove it, I can't disprove it. I mean, somebody could, put me on the stand in front of a bunch of people and be like, prove it! I could be like, and get really nervous and look like an idiot and look like a fool in front of everybody and not be able to prove it. And then I'm saying, look, see, he has no proof. I'd be like, yeah, you're right, I have no proof. And he's like, then we don't have to believe in what he says. And you don't have to believe in what I say. You don't have to believe in anything I say. You don't have to believe in anything anyone says, no matter how much proof they have. Because they could have falsified that proof. Or made it seem differently than what it is. I can't prove it. But that doesn't mean it's not real. It just means I personally don't have any concrete evidence. But the things I'm trying to prove, they're not made of concrete. The biological cells, they're very soft and squishy. And unlike concrete as we think of it, they think for themselves. So much. You know what? I have seen proof of a few things that I believe in. Like everything being a vibration. Scientific proof. In a movie called Ancient Knowledge. Ancient Knowledge. I saw it on YouTube. The full movie is on YouTube. If you type in Ancient Knowledge full movie, you'll get it on YouTube. But I don't recommend. Well, you can watch it if you want to, but you gotta eat the meat and throw away the bones. And no, Shadow Senshi, I did not steal that saying from you. I already knew it. They put a very Christian spin on it, saying that the world is infused with Yahweh, but the very principles they use to necessitate the existence of Yahweh, the principles that I think make our universe independent of any god, that make it capable of being successful in and of itself. Got about 10 minutes left on my memory card. I think I'm done. You can consider these things for yourself, as I'll consider them for myself. But I really would like to have some proof. But I've stopped looking. I've stopped looking for answers because I've found the ends of what I was looking for. And I didn't find any answers. Just meanings. And perhaps the root of the universe I was searching for is so simplistic that it can't be proven, only taught, only understood, only shown. and they can be seen in every factor that exists in our universe. They're proven by the very existence of every last thing. Not by a technological instrument that reads levels of electromagnetism, at least not any of the current generation. And not by closed-minded theories that limit us to the natural and deny the supernatural. Christianity limits us to the Bible and denies the non-biblical. Science binds us to the natural and denies the supernatural or the non-natural or the non-scientific. It's a doctrine. That's all I have to say.